A brand new CNN poll shows that Donald Trump maintains his lead over Joe Biden. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the 2024 presidential election because everyone, CNN has just released a brand new poll, and once again it shows that Donald Trump has a lead over Biden. But not only that, since their last poll in January, I think it was, Trump's lead has actually expanded. Yeah, that's right. A CNN poll shows this. This isn't a Fox News poll. This isn't a far-right pollster. No, this is from CNN. You would be expecting a favorable poll for Biden. You would not be expecting a friendly poll to Trump. But that's exactly what CNN is finding. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, let us get into it. Donald Trump continues holding advantage over President Joe Biden as the campaign and the former president's criminal trial move forward, according to a new CNN poll conducted by SSRS. In the coming rematch, opinions about the first term of each man vying for a second 4 years in the White House now appear to work in Trump's favor, with most Americans saying that, looking back, Trump's term as president was a success, while a broad majority says Biden's has so far been a failure. Words, the vast majority of Americans realized, crap, we made a mistake with Biden, and Trump was not as bad as some people claimed he was. Yeah, I may not like his tone at times, I may disagree with him, but it's factual. He was a better president, in fact, way better than Biden. Trump's support in the poll among registered voters holds steady at 49% in a head-to-head matchup against Biden, the same as in CNN's last national poll on the race in January, while Biden stands at 43%, not significantly different from January's 45%. Yeah, Biden slightly trended downwards, while Trump stayed the exact same. Now, to be clear, I am not saying that Trump's going to win by 6 points. No one should think on election day, unless something crazy occurs, that Trump's going to win by 6 points. That's just not going to happen. Again, stuff could theoretically occur, but it's still stunning that these polls have Trump leading not just by a point, by upwards of 6 percentage points, according to CNN. This isn't a far-right pollster. Now, you notice this was a registered voter poll. That means these are people that can vote. They are registered to vote and all of that. That's not the same as likely voters where you know these people are more than likely going to vote. This includes anyone that's registered. And when you account for that, this 6-point lead is not as insane. Because for whatever reason, this cycle, registered voter polls indicate Trump is doing way better with that voter block, while likely voter polls, Biden's doing significantly better. And the theory is, well, that means if 2024 has higher turnout, that's going to benefit Trump. If it's lower turnout, that's going to benefit Biden. And the polling indicates, I mean, this is the latest example. Trump is up 6 percentage points over Biden, yet there were a couple polls released from a couple states that were likely voter polls, and Trump was only slightly ahead. So even then, this does at least kind of show that this theory that higher turnout helps Trump, there is some proof to it. Looking back, 55% of all Americans now say they see Trump's presidency as a success, while 44% see it as a failure. In a January 2021 poll taken just before Trump left office and days after the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, 55% considered his time as the president a failure. So they have history of asking the same question. This isn't like, oh, they just asked this question this time, but we have no proof to see if this is good or bad. This is clearly good. Because back in January of 2021, according to CNN, 55% of Americans thought Trump was a failure as president. Now it's flip-flopped. Now you have 55% saying, no, actually, it's a success. Assessing Biden's time in office so far, 61% say his presidency thus far has been a failure, while 39% say it's been a success. Yeah. 61% said this administration sucks. Hell, that's even worse than January of 2022, when 57% called his first year a failure. So it's gotten worse for Biden. And remember, January of 2021, this was right after January 6th. This was when all the polls indicated that Trump collapsed in favorability and approval, all of that. Yet, despite all of that, Trump's number then is still significantly better than Biden's is right now. What does that tell you? People really think this presidency sucks. I just don't see how people can look at this and say, there's nothing wrong with this poll. No, this poll actually shows good news for Biden. No, it doesn't. Republicans now are more unified around the idea that Trump's presidency was a success than Democrats are that Biden's has been one. Overall, 92% of Republicans call Trump's time in office a success, while just 73% of Democrats say Biden's has been a success so far. And you might say, well, that's just a bunch of progressives, saying they're pissed off with Biden, but they're going to come back to him, which, that's reasonable. I could see a bunch of Democrats voting for the guy. That's why I'm saying this 6-point lead that it currently has, it's probably not going to hold, more than likely, because a bunch of Democrats are saying we're not voting for him right now. But even then, more independents said Trump's presidency was a success, 51% to be exact, while only 37% see Biden's as a success. 37%. That is bad. We're not talking about, a 1-point difference and you don't know, okay, do independents really think Trump's presidency was a success or what? No. People think Biden's presidency is trash. It's awful. It's done nothing good. While the small majority of independents, which Biden won by like 14 points, said Trump's presidency was a success. There is some overlap in views of the two most recent presidents' achievements, with 14% of Americans saying they consider both are failures, while 8% say both are successes. About a half of registered voters, 47%, consider Biden's presidency thus far to be a failure, while saying Trump was a success, while only 30% say Biden's has been successful and that Trump was not. Public opinion of former presidents generally rise in retrospect, although no other modern president has attempted a similar return to power after an electoral loss. And that's why that's important. It doesn't matter that, usually this occurs. Like, remember Bush? Bush was hated when he left office in 2008. Now a bunch of people think, actually, he wasn't that bad. He was terrible, but this happens with every president. When they leave office, people think, not as bad as we thought. But the problem is, this isn't a situation where, Trump isn't running. He is, in fact, running. And he has a record. That's why this is a big problem for Biden. Because this is a comparison of two presidencies. The plurality thought Trump's was way better, while only 30% said, no, actually Biden's was more successful. That's why this question matters way more than usual. Because when was the last time in modern history you had the former president run for a second term like Trump is doing after losing re-election? Never. You have to go back to the 1890s. I guess you could say, the early 1900s with Teddy Roosevelt, but I'm talking about what happened with Trump when he ran as a Republican, he got the nomination. That's not what happened with Roosevelt. Point is, this is insane what's happening. This is not good for Biden. That only 30% say his presidency has been better than Trump's, while 47% said Trump's was better than Biden's. Negative views of Biden's work in office have held for much of his presidency. In the new poll, 60% disapprove of his handling of the job and 40% approve, about the same as it's been in CNN polling for more than a year. Even Biden's strongest issue approval ratings of poll are also negative territory, with 45% approving his handling of healthcare policy and 44% approving his handling of student loan debt. And his worst issue approval rating for his handling of the war between Israel and Hamas and Gaza yields 28% approval to 71% disapproval, including an 81% disapproval mark among those younger than 35 and a majority disapproval among Democrats. Jesus, only 28% approval. That's a foreign policy disaster when only 28% of Americans think, this foreign policy action by Biden was successful, or we approve of it. That is bad. And the majority of Democrats saying, this was a disaster. This is, I just cannot believe that someone has this pathetic of numbers. You don't usually see this for someone running for re-election. Yes, you sometimes see it with a Bush type, they've been there for 8 years, the economy crashes, and their numbers fall apart. Yes, that occurs. But you know how hard it is for the incumbent running for re-election to have numbers like this? It doesn't usually happen. It happens with someone like Jimmy Carter. This is just bad. The more you read this poll, the more you realize this isn't just one issue. Every single issue voters think Biden sucks on. Even stuff like healthcare. Only 45% approve of his handling of healthcare. Stuff like the economy, 34% approval. Inflation, 29%. The more you read this, it just gets worse for the guy. And yet people think that Trump has zero shot of winning. How can anyone say that and look at this poll? I'm just being honest, how? Because with Trump, even back in 2020, there were issues that Trump was popular on. Even stuff like the economy. That was his bread and butter. Even during COVID, most people supported Trump because of the economy. It was recovery. But here, even the issues that Biden has slight support with, healthcare and student loan debt, it's not a majority. It's 45%, 44%. Yet everything else is in the 30s, in the high 20s. It just gets bad. But either way, we are only in April. Stuff can theoretically occur. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months. But to say that this poll is a nothing burger and, well, yeah, things could change, which, yeah, that's true. Like I said, we are only in April. To say that this poll should be completely ignored is just insane. This poll demonstrates two things. One, this bounce back that people were talking about for Biden was fake. This bounce back never occurred. He might have done 1 point better in some polls, but then went down immediately after. But number two, this poll demonstrates that the vast majority of Americans think that Trump was a better president than Biden. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.